fuck you doing?
Remember that name? Good Pizza with 3 Z's, baby. 3 Z's.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, this week we step into the mind of Nelson, Poetry of Plants. This guy has a lot to say. His insights are crazy. I love the way this guy's mind works. His insights on the game and the world in general. I think you guys are gonna really like this one. We had so much to talk about. Be prepared for a round 2 coming soon. We didn't even scratch the surface. We'll see y'all on the show. So, I think we're gonna go right in with the, you got a better, you have a bet, you can one up the DMX story. Go.
When I was in LA, I got gotten a record deal with Geffen.
Fire.
And weed, and I've talked a little bit about this before, but like I started selling weed at like 19, 20, and that was mostly to fund my music career.
No doubt.
Because I didn't come from like, you know, all the musicians I knew that got record deals either were really fucking good or they had rich parents.
Nice.
And I don't think I was either.
Right.
I was okay, you know.
No doubt.
So how I got to LA, they gave me a demo deal, and then I had to. There's no money in the music industry when you're starting out, so I had to figure out how to make money. And I had started a film production company that was focused mostly on filming mixed martial arts. So I traveled around the country. I worked for a fight team called American Top Team, which you probably heard of.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, so Dan Lambert owns that, and his right-hand guy hired me, and I was doing all this video production for them. So I had taken like the music recording, engineering, and was able to kind of apply that skill set to post-production, editing. And every time they'd be like, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and then I would figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
But you really didn't at the time? You just figured it out?
No.
Yeah.
It would just be like a lot of coffee and weed at night with like training videos.
Okay.
On how to like run Avid or Final Cut or Photoshop or all those kinds of things.
Nice.
And it was, and you know, and I'm working for a fight company, so they were. I was doing stuff that was like kind of artistic, and for them, and at the same time like heavy metal, like hardcore.
There you go.
And so they were into it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, great." So
nice, dude.
So the expectations weren't like super high, and I was exceeding the expectations from what would normal fight tapes were looking like. I was making, you know, putting a pizzazz on it.
Okay.
So I got connected with a guy named Scott Nelson who had a fight company called On the Mat, and he had rented out this warehouse in Huntington Park. All right. And he had connected with a guy named Ed Suarez, who owned a brand called Sinister, and was also Antonio Silva's manager, who at the time was like the #1 fighter in the world. I think I got his first name right. Was it? Oh God, Anderson Silva.
Silva.
What is wrong with me? Anderson Silva. Sorry, it's been a minute. That was before he broke his leg and all that stuff happened.
Yeah,
but at the time, he was like the most savage fighter. And so we were gonna do we were basically going to do a fight show with Ed. And so we turned this warehouse into a green screen. I moved out there. I lived in this warehouse, which is basically like Latino hood, industrial, like Southeast LA.
Okay.
And there's like more crazy shit that happened there. But, you know, the Snoop thing was, so basically I turned this into like a film stage, and we would rent it out for like budget, like films for like college students and things like that. And a lot of people that have gone on to have incredible careers in the film industry used my stage to as like their training grounds, essentially.
No shit, man.
So, you know, we would rent it out for like 1/10 of what the other studios would, and it had everything they needed. But it was in this area that was like, you know, dingy. You know?
Undesirable area.
An undesirable area,
sure.
but it was good. So we got connected with a production company called Partisan. And you ever see Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
No.
It was like a Jim Carrey psychedelic kind of movie.
Damn, Jim Carrey psychedelic? I didn't see that.
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, where they were forgetting their memories and all these kinds of things.
No.
Good movie.
I'd love to watch it.
But there was, so the guy that directed that, the point of reference would be like this French director named Michel Gondry. And Michel Gondry had done a lot of some of the coolest music videos at the time. Like him, it was him, Spike Jonze, I think Chris Cunningham. There was a whole crew of these guys that came out, and they were doing just these really amazing music videos, like art rock kind of stuff, and then spinning on it, or like early electronic, early rave music as well, like all that kind of, like Aphex Twins and all this stuff that kind of. So Michel Gondry had started this film production company. I got connected with one of the producers there, who was renting out the stage to do the low budget stuff and to develop these early directors that were either in college or coming out of college. There was a really cool moment in LA where there was money and development of young creatives. This was prior to everyone being able to do this on social media, which is cool because the gatekeepers come down, but then there's not a focus or attention on development anymore because everyone can do everything. And that's kind of, we've devolved away from being able to develop talent because everyone's talent now, I guess.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So
right.
Long story short, so I connected with this guy. We became friends. He bangs on my door one morning, bangs on the garage door. I roll up. He's like, I just lost my location for a music video today. Do you want to do a Snoop Dogg music video? And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I'll paint the green screen now because every day we had to paint it when there was a shoot and this and that. So I got up, painted the green screen. Now, next to the film studio, I had like my recording studio and then my band practice room that I lived in.
Okay.
And I kind of turned it into this hybrid space. So Snoop rolls up in like this dusty like Bentley. And all of Long Beach showed up. There was like 400 people there for this music video. So he was cameoing on some other artist music video. I don't remember. But they brought in all the lowriders, all this stuff.
I think I remember this one. Was it the Outlaws?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was who it was.
And they're from my neighborhood in Jersey.
Okay.
No bullshit.
Yes. Yeah. So, but because Snoop was there, all Long Beach showed
That's
up.
crazy.
So
bro.
there's like dudes in wheelchairs. There's Hennessy just flying off the walls.
Yeah.
I had, at the time,
Whole gang of
I'm a
Crips.
white boy from Boca Raton. I had heard of Hennessy. You know,
for sure.
I smoked a lot of weed, but like, bourbon was my drink. So
Sure.
So then Snoop rolls up, and then the producer comes and like, we need a place for Snoop to do his hair and makeup, and he doesn't want anybody to see that, which I understand. You know. So there was like a little smoke area that we had in this like crazy loft that we had set up. So I set this all up, and Snoop comes in, and I'm like, "You good?" He's like, "I'm good." I'm like, "Hey, you and I are on the same record label." He's like, "You're on Geffen?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "When we gonna make some motherfucking music?" I said, "We can do it today." I got like a whole setup, recording studio.
Shit, dude.
Like my bass player lives downstairs at this loft. This is like a 6,000 square foot warehouse,
Okay.
And he's like, "We'll call them together. Let's go." So I called my drummer. I'm like, "Get your fucking ass over here right now."
Yeah.
My bass player Reed's downstairs learning everything off of like off of Chronic, like getting the bass lines down so we could go into something familiar. And then and my drummer rolls up. I go, "Snoop, we're ready." We plug in, and it just turned into like a 5-hour jam session with Snoop.
Before the video?
But this is the whole problem, is they were shooting the video outside of the jam session area, and the director was getting pretty upset.
Oh, shit.
And so like Snoop used to have a manager, and I still did, but he was like a big Asian dude, and he kept coming in and being like, "Hey, we gotta cut this out." And then Snoop would look at us and be like, "They want me to go shoot this scene," and I'm like, "Well, do whatever you got to do." And then he hits the blunt, and he's like, Reed, my drummer, just went right back into another line, and then we went back into it. And so meanwhile, we just threw this party for the whole day.
That's insane, bro.
And I think he shot a scene at like 7 at night. And the production team was very frustrated, but I could have given two shits.
Right,
I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
lifetime.
And like we went into this, and then all of a sudden, like I called a few friends, and then they called a few friends. Next thing you know, like everyone that's ever come to any of my shows showed up. The whole warehouse, it's like 1,000 people there, and it turned into this thing. And I was so like high from that experience. I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. I had like adrenaline going. I was just lit. And it was, in between all that, I got to see, he basically turned our practice room into like a little lounge, and his kids were there, and I set up his kids on video games, and they were playing.
Cool, man.
And his wife showed up, and it was like this family kind of house party kind of vibe.
It's amazing.
And then like I got to see the interaction of how Snoop talks to his people and everything, and I just thought he was just a good dude,
Yeah,
and
he was
and
like
then,
a big dog.
But it was almost like people were coming to him like he was the king,
Gotcha.
So like people would show up and then like
Kiss the ring,
have a meeting with him, and then they would ask him his advice, and for nothing, except just helping these people out. Whoever they were, he'd be like, "No, you want to do this, and that." He was coaching people the whole time, and then we jammed, and then he kept the coaching, and I just saw like a lot of generosity. And this is at a time where it was still Prop 215, right? So this would have been like 2007. Okay. So he had like a medical brand at the time, and it was the first time I ever saw Mylar. Was in like this, it was like he was like the first to do the Mylars.
Wow.
And then, so we were all smoking Snoop weed at the time, and it was just
was it any good?
It was great.
Nice.
That got me fucked up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is like OG, when OG was king.
For sure.
You know, and I'm an OG guy. So that's
No
the thing.
doubt.
It's like, so for me, that was like one of those moments. Now, the interesting thing is that didn't come from my relationships with the record label. So when I called my A&R guy and sent him the video, because I had all this video equipment. I'm like, you got to film this shit because people aren't going to believe that this happens. You know?
Yeah. And
So
you
I
have
had,
all this on captured.
yeah, I have it. I have like,
Wow.
so I lost all the original tapes, but there's like a 5-minute clip I put together, and it's still on YouTube that I've saved.
Oh, sick.
So you
bro.
could like look up Red Skeleton, Snoop Dogg, and you'll find that video. But it's like, you know, SD, standard definition.
Yeah,
But it's there,
bro.
and we all had a moment, you know. We had like a couple moments where he was going crazy. So it was.
So what was he doing? Like spitting songs from his album, freestyle? Like what was he doing?
We kind of went in with a couple songs off of Chronic,
Okay.
and I was just making like space sounds on the guitar.
Okay.
He looked over me at one time. He's like, "Man, your guitar sounds like a saxophone. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just feeling it."
Oh,
Because
shit.
I'm really into guitar pedals and synthesis and all the
no
nerd
shit.
all the nerd shit, all the stuff that like comes.
Cool.
The grow room design really came from me playing around with sound and weed and the thing for me, it's like music was the first thing that really captured my life, and then cannabis was second, and both of those things for me were two creations, right? That have the possibility of bringing everyone from everywhere together.
Yeah.
And we've like big time taken a hard left from that. So
Yeah.
but I still believe that, you know, I can sit down and I can smoke a joint with somebody and be from a different part of the world or a different mindset or have a different belief system, and I can find common ground with that person, and it's not going to get heated, you know. And then the same thing with a good song. Everyone will, you know, it's like a good song. What makes a good song is if someone's writing or expressing something that is the most challenging thing for someone to express, right? So the minstrel, right? They're there to transmute the hardest things it is for us human, normal people to communicate out in the world. That's what makes a powerful song. We've gotten away from that too. Like now songs just all feel like TJ Maxx music to me, you know, or they're emulating like real surface level materialism. So, you know, so a lot of the tools, in the same way that now cannabis has gone that way, where now cannabis is emulating in a lot of respects or trying to recapture some of the worst foods or the worst candies or those kinds of things. It's not about depth anymore. It's about just, you know, as far as the way that it's branded. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So
No, I do know what you're saying.
So like as we lose that substance to some of these things that make it special, we lose the ritual, we lose what's sacred, and it loses its power to open us up in our life, you know? So that's what kind of got me, especially during the pandemic, like got me going and fired up online and stuff, which was stupid at some respects.
Yeah, so I remember, you know, you were on fire during the pandemic, dude. With
I had too much time.
with your banter.
I had too much time.
Online, bro. What sparked that, and what stopped it? Because you were on fire, dude. Poetry plants.
I know that was
going crazy.
Well, it's still there, but it's just not worth. It's not worth putting it out because I think for me it was just everything in my personal life didn't go well. There was things that like I bought into some bullshit, and instead of dealing with that necessarily internally and in my own space, I looked out at the world to see reflections of the same bullshit, and then got and then I kind of wanted to get out of the business of this, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna start speaking everything that's running through my fucking head.
Oh, hello.
And I don't care anymore. And then maybe I won't have to do this anymore because it had gotten so, the struggle and the loss had gotten so painful.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I really had I still do. I mean, I had to recapture that, right? But I really had a passion for this plant, and I was seeing the trajectory it was going, especially in California, because, you know, the California started all this, and to watch it all get completely corrupted, by this like confluence of mafioso entities in the government, and then learning that the government was just a mafioso entity, and then the people that were kind of leading the way in the industry. I'll say the names like the MedMens, the Cookies, right? These brands, they were actually creating a precedent for really corrupt behavior that was going to ultimately end up where we are now, which is full collapse. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to scream this shit from the rooftops as much as possible in hopes that we maybe deviate. But what I learned in that, because the more I talked about it, the more those bad people started, we'll call them bad people, the more those people that were compromised in their personhood, right? They had sold too much of the good part of themselves to a lie. That's what I'll say. Because I can't good and bad is like, that's stupid. That's like, there are shades of gray in all this, and there's a path here. And people get captured by the lie, and I have more empathy for them now because I myself have been like I bought into a bunch of bullshit before and based my life around it. So
yeah, you got caught in a bad situation with your brand, right? Or
what do you mean?
You did a deal. I remember you speaking on it. You did a deal, maybe some kind of contract with a company, and then
there's been a few
turned around and shitted on you and didn't honor the contract.
Yeah.
I remember.
There's been two of those instances.
Gotcha.
Which then there's been I don't really want to deal with the lawyers and all that stuff, but
yeah, you can.
I've helped a lot of companies start up, and they've created deals, and then I watched how they got out of their agreement, and then I realized that there's no way that I can fight this, there's just and when you were in this space, you're coming, I'm a musician and a grower. I don't understand all the legalese, right? Sure. I don't understand all that legal language. So you get into these situations and everything is there on paper, but then they have one little inclusion on the contract that's gray, or you can't really understand it, but you're like, okay, whatever, or you think they're going to make good on it, but they create all these little ways to get out of their obligations.
Yeah.
So, there was a project that I would have walked with probably close to $4 to $6 million when they sold. And then I was going to use that money to start up everything I'm doing now. But this is the story, is that I still did what I was planning on doing, and I figured out how to do it without that seed money. Because for me, I was like, I don't really, seeing the entities that were out there that had money at the time, I didn't really want to partner with all of them. And then really that started from MedMen, because MedMen created this, MedMen brought a lot of well-to-do people that wanted to see the cannabis industry grow and turn into something mainstream. MedMen, all that, I might call it good money, right? Clean money came into MedMen, and then MedMen scammed everybody, and it failed.
Yeah, what did they do? What exactly did they do?
Oh God, that's a podcast all on its own.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just it was a bait and switch. It was smoke and mirrors.
Gotcha.
And I mean, what they did, if I could sum it up, is the guys that ran that company, had kind of a clean cut tech vibe. And what they did was they created an illusion of wealth to extract wealth from others. And with that, they create, and then they opened up, they just couldn't deliver on it. Plus there was market pressure and all these kinds of things, but they sold something that wasn't real. And a lot of people bought into it. And then what that did is that created a precedent where anybody else that was going to be a quality investor, right, would not touch cannabis after their collapse. So then what we were left with were the loan sharky type dudes and all that kind of stuff. And it went back to almost to where the money was before legalization, right? Because that's but without the same value. And what I mean by that is if you were trying, in the Prop 215 days or in the black market days, if you're trying to raise money to start a grow, right, you're going to go to people who are probably, okay with what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And willing to take that risk, and the terms are going to be higher.
Yep.
And you might not ever get out of those partnerships. You might be married to that person for life, or it might end up in some sort of casualty.
Yeah.
So, we went back to that in a way, which a lot of the money that's invested is connected to a lot of other, lateral organized crime, et cetera, which, a lot of this culture glorifies now. I think it's a bad thing, because I think we need to have some standards, and there needs to be reciprocity in deals. And the people that I still work with to this day are, I have a lot of them, but they're people that I've done good business with my whole life. And so there's a relationship there. But if you're trying to, it takes time to know whether or not someone's going to stab you in the back. Right?
Sure does.
It takes a lot of time. So all that fast money and the shiny object of cannabis, it created a lot of wealth to come in really quickly. A lot of it was extracted, extorted, right? And then everything fell apart. along with there being large players, like large operators that came into the cannabis space, like Glass House, right, who align themselves politically, and they're protected. I mean, look what happened.
Bro.
Like,
Can we talk about that for a couple minutes? I'd love to hear your take on things.
We can. I mean, that was probably the thing that like got the most attention. I was like one of the first ones to really rattle the cage about.
Yeah, you were, and then Elliot. It was you, then Elliot.
Well,
Elliot's still going.
Elliot came in a little bit later, and I'm glad he did, because a lot of stuff behind the scenes when I was talking about started to get scary in my personal life.
See, that's crazy. Can you talk about that or no?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'll just tell you that, like,
Maybe you and me talk later.
Yeah. I don't really want to go back there.
You shouldn't.
But like, there was threats against my family and all kinds of things, and they were actual.
Jersey, what up? It's your boy JP, Good Pizza. Yo, everybody's been asking me, where can I get the slices in Jersey? Look no further. Peep the list. Check it out. It's right here. Pull up. Grab you a slice. Thank you for the support, Jersey. Peace, love, good pizza. We'll see y'all out there.
But at the time, the thing is when you start getting that kind of attention, right, you get your ego triggers, right? And then I started to become like this source or this outlet for people to get like the truth. And it's like, I don't know if I've earned that. Yeah. I'm just an asshole that's talking about what I see, right? Sure. And we all are.
Right? Are we not? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at like
everything's through your lens.
Right. And then so it got gnarly, and and the thing for me is I got so wrapped up in the attention of all of it that I just kept going, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking take everybody out,
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I got really effective at hurting people financially.
Oh shit! No way.
Right, and then that's when things changed.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone has that power anymore. I think that there was a moment with social media where that power was there. I think, Trump's capitalized on that, but I think that the Trump thing has burned it out, because I don't think it matters as much. I think that the zeitgeist or the meta is changing, and I'm hoping it does, because that would be better. I hope that nobody has that kind of power online, because look at how easy it is to move people around and move sentiment around. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because that's so easy to put propaganda and brainwash people. Now, I felt just in what I was doing, right? Because I could back it up with proof and some evidence. But at that point, it didn't really matter. All that mattered was the hysteria. All that mattered was that it was punching. All that matters is that someone was swinging at somebody, right? And it was feeding kind of this chaotic psychological violence. Yeah. Right now, what's happened is that chaotic psychological violence is now manifesting in the real world more and more and more.
It sure is.
And so I was probably pretty fucking close to that me being a casualty of that. So at this point, I was just like
an actual casualty, like not here anymore.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, and at the time, it's like there's a nihilism in that, and I would say that that's just like
What's that?
Nihilism is that it's a belief system that nothing matters, right? So nothing matters. So when you go to a nihilistic space, there's a freedom there, because nothing matters, right? So you can call anything out, and it's also feeding this. The pathology of a lot of political speech in like the school shooters, right? Like anybody that's going to go do that has embraced the nihilistic, like their life doesn't matter, right?
Gotcha.
So I won't get too heady with it, but it's like there's a philosopher named Nietzsche that came up with this.
I've heard about Nietzsche.
But in a way, like things did matter to Nietzsche, and he was speaking about things in a way to trigger a reflection on life and what does matter in some respects, and he was challenging that current norm. And then that evolved into the postmodernist thought and all this kinds of stuff, where because nothing matters, I can create my own reality, right? Which has spurred on some funky ideas that have led into part of the problems that we have in the world right now. The reality for me, though, is that there is things that matter. And I do believe that there is some universal truths, because I see them in nature. I see them in the garden. I see how things work in harmony. If I saw chaos everywhere, then I would believe that nothing mattered. But When I look at a garden that's going well, I see harmony. I see the plants working in conjunction with the soil microbiome and the fertilizer and the environment that they're in. And there are mechanical principles that are universal. So, you know, I won't go too far into that rabbit hole, but that's kind of how I look at everything. And I don't really know how to, like at the time I thought like you could be a hero, right? I don't really believe in that anymore. Like, I don't think there's a heroic path in this time right now.
Yeah.
As far as changing it, I think we're looking at.
What do you think is survival? Stay
No.
afloat, tread water?
I think that we have to remove our energy from the current system, spiritually and psychologically.
Okay, how so?
So stop picking sides. Like both of these sides are ending up on the same result. It doesn't matter if you're on this side or that side, we're getting the same result. And that's a consolidation of power and resources and more corruption.
Now, sides, we talking blue, red? We
Sure.
talking, okay, gotcha.
Straight, gay, whatever it is.
Gotcha.
You know, all of
Gotcha,
it. Like
gotcha.
everything. So everything is fragmented to remove the connections.
Yeah, yeah.
And
for sure.
and what I know is that the moments I felt the most alive is when I've been the most connected with others. It hasn't been because of me. It's because I've been participating in a concert of harmony.
Yeah,
Right?
no doubt.
Yeah, and so everything in the world right now are the algorithms, the AI, all this stuff is wired on triggering our base selves, right? Like our fallen self. So they get a cheap reaction from us that's usually violent. And so if we keep feeding that and we keep engaging in that, then what we will get is casualty, because that's the result of violence. So I have been working on, you know, I don't post that much, you know, I'm trying to
You've
go.
been a little quiet lately, bro.
What?
You've been quiet lately.
Well, because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was doing before I learned from, which is I was feeding into the nihilism,
Okay.
right? Like, and that was dishonest, because at the core, that was coming from a place where I was pissed off
Yep.
and I wanted like vengeance or something.
Sure.
And then I fed into the nihilism, and then it kind of, so I'm just going to destroy this person as much, you know, go into everyone. And then next thing you know, people were hitting me up all the time, telling me stories about this person did this to them and this to that. And I'm like buying into the energy and not buying into what the truth is. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe this person did this. Maybe they didn't.
Sure.
You know, it was really easy for me to really hurt someone's reputation, whether they deserve to or not. And honestly, I like, there's no reason why anyone should have the power. One person should have the power to do that. And we, right now online, and that's what I'm saying is changing, I think, is that I think that there's been this ability for someone to go out and speak about this stuff and target someone. So for me, I was targeting, you know, groups or individuals or whatever, and then that was causing a sentiment to change, and then it became almost a circus, a carnival, and no change, nothing good would happen, just worse things would happen. And I wasn't afraid, you know, of these individuals, so I would sit down and talk with them. You know, if I would troll somebody, I had no problem sitting down and talking to them and having a conversation.
And you
with
seem
them.
reasonable like that. You seem like you would. I didn't get that vibe that you weren't down to actually talk to these people.
No, I don't have a problem expressing,
Yeah.
because for me, that's also information. The response and the reaction is information for me, so I can understand where it's at. And it's also an opportunity to plant maybe a better seed.
Yep.
So for me, like rattling the cage would give me an opportunity to sit down and have an important conversation with someone that had more power, influence, or access than me. And I might not have had that opportunity or been taken seriously if I hadn't fucking punched them first.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna slap you around a little bit, then we're gonna talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? That was the strategy. And then the idea, like I had a whole program. So I would go hard with some memes, and then I would write a reflection on the root cause of it. And most of the time, the reflection, the written words wouldn't be as viral, but the people that are following me would engage with it more and resonate more.
Yeah.
But
it's
then
very
like
engaging.
But then like all of a sudden, like I'm the sage, I'm this guy. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Because then what ends up happening is those forces that aren't that don't want that truth to be spoken or whatever it is or talked about, they're gonna come after you. So
no doubt.
because I'm laterally affecting or hurting the pocketbooks of more people than I understand. And also
shit.
I'm flipping a guy off on the freeway. And, you know, sometimes a guy on the freeway has a gun.
Sometimes they do.
And more so now than ever.
Yeah.
So as things have gotten more heightened, it's not worth it, as we can see, you know, in the most recent events. You know, I mean, like, what good are you if you're dead?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I think that's one of the things that we should factor in and should
factor that in.
factor in. But there's like, the world's got a death wish right now. So,
Yeah.
you know, and I would say is that's one world. That's not the world,
No doubt.
right?
There's
And
people not living in that reality.
and we can choose to be a part of that world that has a death wish, or we can choose to be a part of the world that moves the earth around the sun.
Yeah.
You know, that where and the sun rises and sets in, the West and all of that. We could choose to be a part of something that's bigger than this world that's really going to shit. So that's my counter to the nihilism. Is like, okay, maybe if you're in that world, all you can see is the nihilism. But that world you can be in and you can be out of, right? So I started thinking about that. And then the thought was like, well, what's leading this world right now is an algorithm, clearly.
Yeah.
Our politicians are being elected because of algorithms.
Straight up.
And so I'm going to give that less energy in my life, and then I'm going to substitute the addiction with something else. So I started finding things that I could do in my own time that people don't need to know about that will substitute the scrolling addiction or the doom scrolling. And so I could start pulling my energy out of this.
Nice.
Right. But the thing for me is like, I will smoke weed and I'll go right on the internet and I want to talk shit.
No doubt.
So I got to put my phone away when I smoke weed now.
Oh, no shit.
I just put it away.
Good.
Because when the inhibitions come down a little bit, and for me that was a thing. Like when I was going hard, it was when I'd be fucking really high.
No,
because I give less fucks.
It's usually like drinking. This weed does this to you?
Weed does this to me.
No
Drinking
shit.
chills me out.
No
I have like an
shit,
opposite
bro.
mind. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I did a lot of psychedelics in the past, and now psychedelics don't really affect me as much. It's interesting. So I don't really do them. It's like I got the information I needed, and now it's just like a filter.
So did you used to do psychedelics for healing and searching, or just to get just trip out? Sure, a mix of both as you got older. So I started using substances later in my life, so it would have been like 19. Okay, that's good.
Well, I watched a lot of people get fucked up early, and then I come from a family full of addiction. So like for me, like seeing the addiction in my family, I looked at all substances as one thing.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, that's bad. We're not going to do that because I don't want to end up on that road.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the thought. Sure. So I was chill on that, and then I was in all these bands where everyone was smoking weed.
Yeah, you were.
And then it was like Y2K was coming around, and I'm like, well, the world might end. I might as well try weed.
Yeah.
So I think it was like Y2K is when I first smoked weed.
I was smoking some good weed on Y2K. I remember that New Year's, bro.
I was like, I need to know what it is. And I had a great experience. And it affected me deeply. And I didn't look at it as a judgment anymore. I looked at it as something that could be a bonus if it was used properly, right?
No doubt.
So,
cool.
So then, so that shifted it. And then I started studying scientists, the writings on certain, I really went deep, like before I moved in any kind of hallucinogens, I like read a lot about them and what they do so I could understand. So, I didn't want to.
Responsible?
Well, I got a lot out of cannabis, and I wanted to get out a lot out of everything else. I looked at it as almost like a way, like a gateway to understanding some things about myself and the world that I wouldn't understand already. And it's a good way to break social programming. You start,
it sure is.
Start questioning things in the right way. But I did see people then jump off a roof, and I didn't want to be that guy, and I thought maybe that fear was coming because I might have been that guy,
Yeah.
So it's like just measuring it, like giving it the respect it was due.
That's
right.
Respect. That's very crucial.
So, then the psychedelics became more of like something it was less a party thing. I definitely tried them first, maybe more in a party atmosphere, but I didn't have a good experience. And whenever I would do it outside of that, I would have a good experience.
Nice. Intentional.
Right. That was the thought. But like, I don't know. I haven't done psychedelics in a long time. I
just did some mushrooms.
I don't know if I consider them.
Okay, so you're talking acid.
I'm talking about a lot of other things.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
DMT.
A lot of other things. Yeah. So there's like a whole world of that, right?
There is.
And I look at mushrooms almost like mushrooms are less impactful on my psychological state than like weed for me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Like I just feel more connected and fluid with mushrooms. And I haven't had one bad experience on mushrooms, personally.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but I have like with other things that are like more some of the things I don't even know what they were. Kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so I understand the power of some things and some substances. I mean, I haven't eaten an ounce of mushrooms before, so I don't know what happens if I like go full tilt. But I've had a few heroic doses, and
I was gonna say, have you done a 5 grammer heroic dose?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've yet to do that. I haven't eaten an eighth to the face since I was a kid doing it
Right.
for fun.
Right.
So I'm curious.
Right.
We did 2 grams on the podcast recently. Me, Macho Mids, and Mids.
That's a pretty good dose.
Yeah, and they were albino penis semis. They were strong, dude.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
place still doesn't look the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we did a 3-hour podcast, bro.
it does have like it does have a residual echo, right? When you take a large dose. And so some things were like, for me, there were some things that I've done that the echo lasted like 2 years.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Was it bad? Like a bad echo? Like something kept showing up in your life that was not pleasant?
Well,
Well, you got a second? I don't mean to keep steering you, bro. My bad.
no, you're good. That's what we do.
No doubt, no doubt.
I mean, it's a complicated.
It is not.
It's a complicated thing
Yeah,
because
it's almost hard to explain too.
was it something manifesting from like so I would look at it like there's filters and switches, right?
Okay.
And I got this from somebody else a long time ago, but like some things are gonna create a filter, which go away, and then some things are gonna flip a switch.
Okay.
Right, and then at that point you have to understand the switch that's flipped, and you can shift or adjust, but those things can take your life on a trajectory where things will not be the same. So I'd say that there were certain substances that I took that created a long-standing hypersensitivity to detail, and then those detail might, our brains have filters, right? That felt like when we're sitting in here, like you and I are talking. Are you looking at the detail of the knob on that microphone right now?
No, sir.
No, you're just looking at the microphone. I'm like, I got to talk into this. I'm not examining the little
fucking thing on.
I'm not examining whoever hit his tooth on the foam thing in great detail.
Yeah,
But we're still, all that information is still coming into our brain, right? So what psychedelics do to some extent is they remove that filter that we have for us to function. Right. So then all of a sudden, all this detail starts coming in that normally you would be filtering out because it's not essential for what you need to do day to day.
Yep.
Like you get eaten by a lion, right?
Sure.
If back in the day, if you didn't have that filter.
Yeah.
Right. Like you'd be like staring at everything,
Yeah.
And there's some people I know that were born with that filter that are like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And maybe that's where the autism is and all that.
Sure.
Maybe it's not Tylenol, but like a filter. So I think that there's like certain substances that will remove that filter and maybe like keep it dialed down for a long time,
Okay.
or shift your awareness with that filter so you can pick up information. And in some respect, that's been a benefit to me,
Okay.
where I'm able to pick up and feel things from people in a deeper way. And that's probably part of what's kept me alive in some really crazy situations. Because it's something that if you learn how to turn it on, you can learn how to turn it on and turn it off.
Yep.
But you have to also be prepared, and you have to practice being able to deal with getting all that information hit at you at one time. Right? Because it can be incredibly overwhelming.
I know
If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
So it's like you're maybe I'm in like maybe gone into somewhat of a semi-permanent state, if that makes sense.
yeah,
But
a total paradigm shift.
completely. And maybe that's
those are
what
cool.
maybe that's like what going through the door is, right?
Going to the door, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole thing is like if you keep going through the door, if you already got what you needed after you go through the door,
Why are
and
you still
keep
going through the door?
Why are you still fucking going through the door?
Yeah.
Right. So that's my thought on it. So for me, like I have zero interest on really doing anything except smoking new varieties of weed that aren't gelato.
Right, for sure. For sure. Good luck. Happy hunting.
That's why we got the pheno hunts with Highline and all of that. And we're developing a whole line it's got the train wreck vibe on it. Like the classic stuff. So
Sure.
But yeah, like so that's that's been my experience and my lesson from it. But then when you're looking outside at the chaos of the world, and you've gone through that, you don't want to bring that into your life. You want to identify it for what it is, which is traumatic, and I'd like mourn for where things are going. Before, I was trying to get something out of it. I realized what I wanted to get out of it was only going to bring me more grief.
Okay.
Right? and I was trying to figure out a way of getting from point A to B the fastest I could with my goals in my life, which was like get into a big deal, cash out, right, and then take that money.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but
it led you
that wasn't the journey. Well, that wasn't the, yeah, that's right. That wasn't the journey for me. Was to learn that that's not my path. My path's going to be slower.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay because every little obstacle now is a blessing.
It really is.
Yeah, every obstacle is a blessing, and so because it's a opportunity for me to get better at myself and what I'm doing. It's an opportunity for me to work with more people because with an obstacle, when you're conquering an obstacle, it's a team effort. It's not a solo effort. It's an opportunity for you to develop how I communicate with people when things are not going well, right? And you know, and I've had to learn that, you know, and you know, I'm like 43 now, so I've had to learn that in my early 40s, and realize that like nothing's fucking owed to me. Nothing's owed to me, even if they put it on the words. Nothing's owed. You know, and the only way that things are going to come to me is if I earn it, you know, and there's not going to be a 10x multiplier on it. And I'm okay with that. You know, that's how I kind of look thing. And that's like kind of divorcing myself from the hustle culture. Cause it used to be, you know, I get these packs for 800, I flip them for $3.
Yeah.
You know, and that, you know, and we got in this mentality of things being real easy and the margins being fucking 70 to 90%.
They're just not.
And then we expect that. And now cannabis is just like any other business, except it's still federally illegal.
Yeah.
And there's still mandatory minimums. So we've got the risk, but we don't have the reward.
Yeah,
so
that's just true.
So the only reason why you still want to be in that is is because you see it, you love it, you have a passion for it. You also see that the greater opportunity for legalizing cannabis is still there, and that's what it's really about. And that's going to be a much longer road than we all anticipated.
It is.
And the opportunity is to create an industry that redefines human beings' relationships with substances. Right.
I dig that, bro.
You know,
you're right, man. It is just, it's an honest living now. You got to bust your hump.
Yep.
To get by, pay your bills. You might have a little extra.
Right.
Some months. I mean, some people are still fucking killing it. I know a couple cats that have.
But there's always outliers.
There's always that. Yeah. There's always that. But
they're probably taking risks.
They are taking risks. Oh, they're for sure taking risks.
Yeah. And I'm not interested. You know, I got 2 kids. I'm not interested in that.
I hear you. Yeah.
And I don't think the risk is worth. I mean, one of my closest friends in this industry, and a partner to some extent in the genetics business is you know, just got a plea deal for 10 years.
Fuck, dude.
For allegedly, right, 150 pounds of weed. How's that?
150 pounds is
150 pounds. Yeah.
What state? Multiple?
Well, yeah. I mean,
state to state shuffle.
Yeah, I want to be careful.
Yeah, don't say no.
But what they hit him with amongst a number of people, I think it's like 74 that I wrapped up in this now. 74 individuals.
Jesus.
And it's not being really discussed because
the deal for 10.
Well, they wanted to hit him for 40.
Fuck.
Yeah. So they did a RICO.
Okay, that was my next question. This is RICO.
It's a RICO. But he's just a farmer. He's just a farmer.
Fuck.
Right.
Jesus.
Right. And there's still, where they're at now with the plea is the mandatory minimums. So there's still, but people don't understand is at any point the federal government could be like, oh, we're going to do the mandatory minimums.
It's a Fed case, bro. Like,
yeah, what is it? 1,000 plants is 10 years. So at any point, the Fed could turn on this. That's why, like, everything that's going on right now needs to calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is a good segue into THCA and your thoughts. What do you think about this fucking racket?
I think it's a complete scam. I mean, for me, I think it's going to hurt more than help because it's based off of a lie or a misunderstanding of the language.
Yeah.
Anytime you start talking to people about it, they're like, well, it's the same, but it's different. And I'm like, okay.
Same.
Same. Like even the guys that are arguing for it, it's the same thing. We legalized weed, guys. I'm like, no, motherfuckers, you didn't. You did not legalize weed. What you're doing is you're taking advantage of, And also they're selling into a problem, and they're selling into the smoke shops and the hemp shops.
Yeah.
And those are the same shops that are now selling synthetic variants of opioids that are unregulated.
Oh God, you see that shit?
I have
dude?
family members that are addicted to kratom and losing the function of their fucking liver and kidneys from it right now.
Talk about kratom. I didn't know it was bad. Is it bad?
Yeah.
Is kratom bad?
Kratom
it's
is
not this herbal fucking medicinal thing to get you off Percocet. What the fuck?
Look, if some stinky fucking greasy dude comes up to you and says, "This is better than everything," and you're like, "Sure." You know, but it gets you like anything that has a benefit has a cost.
Right.
That's the whole thing. So like if something's going to give you the same physical pain relief benefits as an opioid or something similar to it, it might have less of a cost physically in the short term. It might not be as costly maybe as far as its addictive properties, because maybe it's not been engineered yet the same way that fentanyl and opioids have.
Okay.
But it still has a cost. Because you're bypassing certain things that are going on in your body and that are all part of an ecosystem.
Sure.
And if you're in constant pain, easier said than done, right? But you should be addressing the root cause of what's causing the constant pain.
Of course.
But most people...
Not just going to the kava bar or whatever, you know what I mean?
Whatever it is. So you've got this whole industry that's designed to sell like basically edgelord drugs. You know, they haven't yet been acknowledged because the government's a slow-moving ship and it takes time.
Sure.
And usually like a few thousand deaths before they actually start looking at things. Jesus. They're selling, like I go into these smoke shops and there's stuff like, I'm like, what is this new pill that you guys are selling? And then they say, well, and it's dressed up like a Percocet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's dressed up like something like that. So that's where the THCA is being sold.
Yeah, for sure.
All right?
For sure.
So you got this whole fucking vibe going on here.
And you got 5 friends that are just killing it. Everybody's got 5 friends killing it, or 2 friends.
I have got 5 friends that are can it.
You do?
Yeah, and I debate them all the time. And I'm like, hey, look, and
You never thought about it once? Like, man, maybe I should just...
1,000%.
Every month I'm back on it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it this month.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing.
Fuck.
Like, but that again, I have to, like, of course, because like I want my life to be easier. Who doesn't want my life to be easier?
Yeah.
Well, I've gone back to like doing all the things that I thought I didn't have to do anymore. Now I have to do that.
Right.
But I have to go back to the lessons I've already learned.
Sure.
Like for me, there's no shortcut. For me, I'm going to do it the hard way. Then that's it. And I'm okay with that.
It's more rewarding. That's for sure. Mentally.
Well, it's slower. And slow while everything is moving fast for me is wise.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to get caught up on a fucking ship that's going off the rails or heading into an iceberg. And for me, I've been able to avoid a lot of that. Like even during Prop 215 when I was growing, I was very hesitant to go big. You know, I had a few small spots. I'm trying to develop relationships with people where I could make a living. And then I was waiting for federal legalization to happen, really. But I knew guys that were doing thousands of lights then. And some of them have gone on to have some of the biggest brands. Yeah. Some of them. Like another 5. But the rest all got jail time.
Yeah.
Right? And look at me. I'm 6'6", 255 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm loud as fuck, and I talk shit.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that's going to jail? Me.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, I don't need to give anybody a reason to put me behind bars.
Yeah.
I've already given them enough. You know, I don't need to give it
doubt.
that avenue.
Sure.
You know, I've pissed off enough people that would absolutely fucking want to see me not talking anymore. So I just stopped talking about that, and I started to talk about things that really matter. Like how do we do this? Now, I didn't do that online either. I do it a little bit online here and there, but I'm tired of it. The last 2 years of working with BIOS, you know, that's who I did the light with, the bridge.
Yeah, let's talk about the light, dude.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay, cool.
But I had to sell them on this idea. It took a while.
Okay.
But part of it is I went to work with them, and they were like, we need you to help us with sales. And I'm sure, no problem, anything I do. And usually what I'll do is I'll come in and anybody having garden issues or whatever, I'm here to help because I have a lot of garden experience and knowledge, right? Or resources in that. So for me, I looked at it as great. I can go see what's going on in every market because they're going to send me to every market. So the last 2 years I've been to almost every legal state and gotten to know what was going on and talk to people and develop relationships. So instead of trying to do that online anymore, I'm like, I got to develop relationships with people in real life because the online persona is becoming how the world sees me. And that's not who I really am.
No doubt.
That's me high, pissed off, wanting to fucking crack a few eggs.
Yeah.
And we all have that side of ourselves, but that's not me in totality.
Sure.
Right? So like really what I want is a better world. You know, I don't want to just like destroy the people. Like at this point, and the other mentalities too, is if I don't like what Glass House is doing, if I don't like what Cookies is doing, if I don't like what these brands are doing, the only way to beat them is to compete. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, otherwise I'm just like some fucking loud asshole in the corner of the room, but I'm not doing anything better.
No doubt.
Right? So the thought was like, okay, well, how do I want to compete and what do I want to do to develop some things differently? Right? So I started, going around touring, I started meeting really good people in this industry that were doing good work and had good business models and were able to survive with all the hard times. And I'm like, I have some things that might help you. I'm learning from you just being here, observing, right?
Cool.
What you're doing. Like anything I can do to help you is going to help me because that'll give me more time to learn about how I can be better.
That's a good attitude.
And so that's how I went into it. And, you know, started making less money, but was really looking at it as investment. Like, okay, it's time to go back to college. Everything I've done has failed at this point. Like, not failed, but like the big things, the big growth.
Sure.
Right? It didn't work out. Like, I've been able to support my family and do pretty well.
Good.
And I'm still here. But what I wanted to create didn't happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, what I wanted to got derailed by politics, got derailed by fires. Like, I moved up to Sonoma to build this whole thing with a group of people, and then we had the Coffee Park fire blew out the whole area. We were building everything. I mean, it's just been so. Some of this stuff is like this is an act of God.
Act of God, yeah.
You know, so what happens is, and a lot of people can understand this, is you have like 5 or 6 of these events that are out of your control. You put everything into it. Everything is fucking getting great. Everything's money, and then all of a sudden, fucking shit just burns down.
Yeah.
You know, a raging fire comes. You know, we had to evacuate. You know, actually,
what year was that? The coffee fire.
2017.
17.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
That was one. I just moved here when that happened. That was fucking nuts.
Yeah, I was driving through. Actually,
that was fucking.
I came up to work with the Compound Seed guys.
Yep.
And Flip was the one that called me at 2 a.m. over and over and over again until I got out of my house because the fire was hitting his place and he lived like a mile away from me.
Oh my God.
And I evacuated because he called me. So I got a little love for him still forever because he called me. He wouldn't stop calling, you know? And so I finally got up. He's like, dude, there's a fire. Get the fuck out. And the fire was like, I don't know, a couple 100 feet away from my house, but it just went a straight line. Bro. And as I'm driving out of the area, I could like a 40-foot wall of flame moving 70 miles an hour.
Oh,
and it's like, so you have, so this is the thing, like this is the other thing. If I'm trying to go fast, I would miss having those opportunities.
Yeah.
Because I think those opportunities are preparing me for how the world is going to be now.
Sure.
Like the world ain't what it was when we were growing up. You know, I are probably the same generation.
I'm 42.
I'm 81, right?
I'm 83.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to prepare ourselves for that, and then we have to be able to prepare our kids for that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy anymore.
Preparing the kids is different, man. It's weird when you can't teach them off of your experiences. Like I'm giving you my experiences, my game from when I grew up, but we are living in a different world, and I need to teach you this world that we're both in at the same time.
Well, that's why we have to dive into it.
Yeah.
Which means discomfort.
Of course.
You know, so for me, that's why I'm saying, like, I look at my perspective on it has changed. You know, last couple months, I've got a lot of cool things, great things working, and then a lot of things, like a lot of tragedy happened in my life the last 2 months.
No shit, really?
But it's okay, because this is the thing. Like, this is what it is.
That's what it is.
You know, and in a way, we lived in like a bubble of what reality was. I mean, we grew up in the 80s, you know.
That was sick, dude.
You know,
80s, 90s were so fun.
It was great, but it was not ever built to last. It was being propped up by a lot of fucked up shit we're just learning about now.
Yeah,
right. Essentially, right? So all that stuff isn't gonna happen. So really, it's like, you know, and then if you look at like a few generations back, you know, half my family's from New Jersey.
No
right?
shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So Montclair.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
One of my towns, yeah.
All right.
One of my towns, yeah.
Right.
Like up Bloomfield Ave.
Yeah, we could talk about that. And then my family, like Newark was established by one of my distant relatives.
Okay.
Which was a general.
That's some wild times.
Yeah, Kearney.
Kearney, yeah.
So my family name
used to live in Kearney.
So my family name is Kearney. My family name on my mom's side is Kearney.
No shit.
Yeah. So
this is where they used to film The Sopranos.
I know. So that side of my family was my mom's side, and the other side was more mafioso.
No doubt.
Like you know,
you Italian?
what?
You part Italian?
No, but my grandfather was like German European, but they all got connected during the wars. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
for
the
sure.
brotherhoods
World
got
War II.
built in World War
yeah.
World War One
Oh,
and
yeah.
World War II. So there was brotherhoods that happened there, and then my grandfather had a bunch of car dealerships. And then like my dad like got into a fight with one of the big guy's kids, and then my dad had to move down to Florida.
Oh no.
Because so it got bad. So,
Okay.
And then my mom's side of the family was the Carneys and the Waters, and then
The Carneys. No
yeah.
Dude.
So
Carney's a cool little city.
it's cool, and so there's like a statue of my relative.
No shit.
Yeah,
Dude. Which part? I think I know.
It's like his name was like General Carney, and
I think I know what park you.
They called him the
smoke weed right by that statue.
Yeah. So that statue was like my great uncle or some shit.
I'm gonna
And
take a selfie.
they call him the one-armed
next to
devil.
that. The one-armed devil.
Yeah, because he lost his arm and he still fucking was a general, and
Yeah.
he was he stabbed people and shit. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they're all terrible people at the end of the day.
But
they were killing people all the
it's a
time.
place and a time.
But it was a place and a time, and so I came from like a lineage of warriors essentially
Nice.
from that. So, maybe that's
You have a warrior spirit, my friend.
I do.
Yeah.
I do feel that way. I just now it's more like let's be the peaceful warrior because
that's
they're
cool.
like the
Warrior in the garden.
right things are just getting too. People aren't using swords and muskets anymore. You know what I mean?
Bro,
And there's too much weird shit going on.
Yeah,
Bars,
yeah.
It's like so now it's just the warrior in the garden. So the thing for me, it was cool that this project came up with in Jersey because I have so much family history there
Tight, bro.
that I never really got to be into because my family was like they thought I was a drug dealer and they didn't talk to me and
Sure.
because I
Black
was
sheep.
growing weed. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
now it's different. They're, what stocks do I invest in? I'm like none of them.
yeah.
But yeah, so it's cool and there's something familiar about Jersey.
Cool, man.
And I've enjoyed being there.
Nice,
so
bro.
it's cool, and the people there have been really cool.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Whereabouts are you operating in Jersey?
So the grow. I'm not going to give a specific city because
Sure.
but the grow's in South Jersey,
South Jersey.
so in
Gotcha,
between
gotcha.
Philly and Vineland.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in South Jersey, like AC area kind of.
More the farmland area, which I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
people
Atlantic
don't know.
City, I don't know about that, but
It is a shithole.
Yeah.
People don't know, bro. Like Jersey's
beautiful.
very rural.
well,
There's
it's
so
it's
much
very
farmland.
it's
bro.
very rural.
It's Garden State, baby.
I know,
what
and
I'm
then you're like in Newark, and you're like, where are the gardens? And then you go
Yeah.
south, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're like 10 by 10 patches in the backyard.
well, you got the Pinelands there too, right?
The Pine Barrens, yeah.
The Pine Barrens, right?
Yeah.
So it's all protected.
Yeah.
There's probably more bodies there are in Desert Hot
yeah.
Springs.
It's a couple.
And so I've had to learn, work with MUA there and all this where they're protecting the Pine Barrens and all the water stuff you've got to do when you're building a grow. Because when you're building a grow, there's all these steps and you have more regulations. So you have to like work with every department in the local government to make sure.
Oh yeah,
they're good.
it's not easy to start
It's very.
out there.
I love it though because for me, then I get to go meet these people, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
You get to learn about the story of the city and the area that you're in.
Yep. Ton of history in Jersey.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It
And it's
is.
nice being that close to New York. I would live maybe in like upstate New York. I don't ever want to live in a city again.
Oh fuck no, dude.
The
city's
but-
too much. I love visiting and hanging out, but I couldn't do the city.
Yeah.
I
But
love-
I like it there. I hope I can convince my wife to move there.
Yeah, upstate's
work-
cool. Like not too deep upstate, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
outskirts of
Yeah.
New York City.
Yeah, yeah,
Upstate
yeah,
is
yeah.
super chill.
Yeah, it's super cool. So,
Yeah.
and it's like my family's all East Coast or from the South, like one or two. I mean, my mom's side of the family moved to essentially New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans.
So, yeah, then New Orleans.
For sure.
And funny story is like my grandfather's dad was the like police chief in New Orleans, and
shit.
he was the one that was commissioned to like move the mob out of New Orleans,
Oh,
like during the
uh-oh.
JFK assassination, like all this stuff. I was reading all these letters, so it's wild. So yeah, it's I dig it, and I'm from Boca Raton originally, which is basically Jersey Shore Part 2.
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I
so
do.
like all my friends are from Jersey.
I
originally.
wanna ask about Boca Raton because I have a little history down there. But first, we're gonna take a quick break.
Okay.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JP Good Pizza. Just taking a quick second to shout out my sponsors over at Grove Bags. Listen, it's an exclusive proprietary bag, and here's why we love them. Let's talk terpene preservation. This is the best environment for storing your cannabis. It keeps your cannabis at 58 to 62% humidity at all times. It's like your cannabis is living in San Diego year-round with the best weather. Terpene and flavor longevity. That's important. It inhibits microbial growth. No mold, Kujin. Let's talk light protection. UV rays and good pizza don't mix. It also increases shelf life. Guys, if you have your flower in a dispensary, please use Grove Bags. We all know that stuff sits sometimes. This is gonna be your saving grace for flower that sits on that shelf longer than it should. Don't mess around with the pizza. Use promo code GOODPIZZA with TreeZ's. Tell them Good Pizza sent you. We'll see y'all back on the show. So Boca, right? I have some history in Boca. One of my best friends moved down there some years ago. He actually got robbed in Jersey, tied up, thrown in a tub, and he decided that, you know what? I think it's time to move.
Right.
Move to sunny Florida.
Good move.
Yeah, good move. It was grimy too. It was like an inside job. One of the little homies actually who passed. God bless the dead. We'll know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was a fucked up situation, man. So he had to go. But his new life in Boca was fire, and it still is. And I love Boca. So tell me about your start there, man.
So it's like my dad moved from Jersey down to Boca when he was a kid.
Okay.
Because he like sucker punched some son of the mob.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
good
yeah.
move. Bad move, but good move.
No. Well, I guess this kid was like, he was trying to be the hero. It was like, he was like harassing or doing something to a girl.
I got you.
And then he went in and talked to my grandmother. What do I do? He goes, and she's like, hit him in the fucking face.
Yeah.
So he went back outside, hit the guy in the face, and then they had to move.
Hit the wrong guy in the face.
He hit the wrong guy. I won't say the name, but it's somebody that people know whose dad, you know, it's like one of those guys who got caught up in that whole period of time.
Got you.
So they moved down there before it was developed.
Okay.
And then my grandparents got divorced. They got separated. My grandfather was liked the brothels, liked the ladies.
Okay.
You know, actually remarried one of the ladies.
Okay.
Which, you know.
Did that work out?
No.
No. Shocker. Yeah. You know what they say.
Yeah. We will just leave that to be unspoken. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and then, so that was at that time, right? That would have been like that would have been the 60s, right? 60s. So that was like when they were making Frank Sinatra movies down there.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? There was still a lot of like that. All of organized crime developed the banks in South Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of action going on, and my family still had some run in with that action at some point.
Oh, Boca's crawling with that.
I know. Well, my grandmother was a reporter for the Sun Sentinel, which is so she was a reporter there, and then she was interviewing on this union story, and there was a guy that was the head of the union in Florida who was connected, and so she started to date him because she just liked to date danger, I guess. And she was a really pretty Swedish lady, you know. And so, they ended up walking in, and he had gotten his, you know, something had gone south, and they were living together, and they walked in, and he was like strapped to a chair with his brains blown out.
Oh,
you know, so my dad grew up with that element too.
Sure.
And so Boca was kind of like that. And then my mom moved down there, like the late 70s. Because it was kind of developing and popping. But, you know, all that had been kind of built by organized crime money. And then, so you had a lot of new money there. So I grew up with a lot of new money. And it was also very like, there was a lot of people that had a ton of money, and there's a lot of people that had no money. Because you get the Cubans, Puerto Ricans, the Brazilians, the Haitians. So my friend group was really mixed.
Cool. That's good as a kid.
Yep. It was really good as a kid.
Really good.
So I had like friends that lived in like, you know, like public housing.
Yep.
And I had friends that lived in like $10 million mansions that were raising money for the Bush family.
Wow.
You know, so it was like that kind of.
It's this big spread.
Yeah.
Gap.
As big as possible. And I was in the music scene there. So like, you know, it was also the time of like, you know, Deftones, Limp Bizkit, Korn, all that. So you had that intermix of hip hop and metal, which, you know, now it's come back.
MTV days.
Yeah, MTV days.
You know?
Yeah. So now it's come back. But that was the cool thing. It was a very multicultural time of music. where, you know, we could be playing really heavy music and then we could get, you know, somebody that could really drop some bars and we would come in and record. And then we would do, we would break into warehouses, or we would, there was a friend of mine, actually, it was one of my first band. His name is Brian, and he's one of the founders of Turp Basil.
Brian Moskin.
Brian Moskin.
I got a call with him tomorrow. We're doing Turp Basil.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So you know fucking Brian from back in the days?
I grew up with Brian. I met him at
oh shit, bro. That's a small fucking world, dog.
Yeah. I met him. So Brian actually came out to LA with me and was part of the record deal initially.
No fucking
way.
Yeah.
So I met Brian at a Deftones concert in 1996 or 7.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, and it was like we were in line and it was him and a few other guys, and I had just gotten kicked out of this school that I was at for my freshman year. And so I was going to this big school in a different area, and that's where Brian went. And I met him in line. And I told him I was going to the school and this and that, and I wanted to be in a band. I'd been playing in bands, and that's how we met.
Cool, man.
And then we basically were like, you know, fucking best homies throughout high school. And then he came out to LA with me. Some things went south. You know, we went our different ways, but we reconnected in the Cannabis thing. And
it's fucking dope,
yeah,
bro.
And then
for
he's
sure
doing
bringing that up on our call.
Yeah, and he's doing things with Turp Basil, which is, I mean, what they've done is great. I think it's a cool event.
It's a dope event.
Yeah.
I did it last year.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. And so it's kind of like that. We've had and we had a really, both of us growing up Bogue was really, at the time we did, was really interesting because there ended up being a lot of people that ended up doing really cool things with later on in their lives. You know, like we played our band was called Chemical Fallout, and then the band that we always played with was a band called Ill-Minded Prophet, who Eric Andre was in, the comedian. So Eric Andre lived like a half mile away from me in the same neighborhood.
Wow. And
so we all played music together, and we all had like the same jam spaces, and we were all doing the same warehouse parties. But Brian's dad was a real estate guy, so his dad would have warehouses that would be like sitting there that we would do band practice in. And then unbeknownst to his dad, we would throw parties in those warehouses. So
solid.
Yeah. And so then we do that, and then we would find spots that were like vacant. Probably the best party we threw was at an old abandoned airplane hangar out like in West Boca.
Fire.
And every kid from every fucking high school went to that party. It was like one of those moments. And everyone was smoking weed, and we were just playing heavy music.
Nice. And
it was like everybody from everywhere. It ended up getting broken up by the cops, but it was like, it was like one of those moments where everything went wrong that day, and then we made it. We got the show going. We got everything going. And it was just like fucking chaos and beautiful chaos. And I remember after that,
a 90s party.
Yeah, a 90s party. Beautiful fucking chaos. And like everyone was like just exhausted. And I just remember that feeling, be like, oh, this is what I want to do every day of my life. Like, I want to be the guy putting these parties together, performing, fucking weed smoke everywhere. I mean, this is it. I don't know how it could get any better. And that's kind of like those shows.
You've been chasing it.
Yeah, and Brian was like kind of the
was
guy.
Brian at this party?
Brian was the one that helped. Brian's like organizational mind. Like,
oh, so he's been doing shit like this Turp Basil thing. Bro.
No, he like that's his like Brian. Everything in Brian's room is fucking in the right place. Everything is organized. So if you're doing those events, he was the guy he was really the one putting up the events. I'm the chaotic fucking energy that would come in and fucking make sure everybody knew about it, right?
Okay.
So it was a little bit of oil and water.
Sure.
But yeah, so like, you know, when Brian started in the cannabis space, he had gone through some changes in his life. We ended up, you know, reconnecting. And then he was like working for companies in LA. But Brian was like, I mean, Brian will tell you this. Like at the time when we first started the band, I was like straight edge. Like I said, I didn't do any substances or anything. Right? I don't like calling them drugs, substances. And I always be like judgmental to him and this and that. And then later on, Brian finds out I'm like this weed guy. And he's like, you motherfucker.
Oh, shit, bro. Yeah, because like...
and when I first smoked weed, I didn't tell Brian because I'm like, I can't let him find out. I've been such a dick about it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Because like if you didn't smoke weed through high school, you'd probably think like, this guy's never smoking weed. Like, he wasn't down with that shit, bro. And then to see where you made it in the weed games, that probably fucked him up.
Oh, it fucked him up. I think he still harbors some resentment, you know?
Oh, shit, bro. That's crazy.
But I mean, I deserve it, you know?
Yeah,
it's like I
You
gave
were
him a
being
lot of
dick,
shit.
man.
I was being a dick.
Yeah.
I also didn't understand it. You know.
That too.
I didn't understand it. But so yeah, so there's just a whole group of guys that we grew up with that have gone on to do really interesting things, and it's kind of wild. And it's like there was like a little bit of a moment.
Sure.
And so we all went out to LA. We were like living that entourage dream for a hot minute.
Oh, nice.
You know,
so what year was this? That
2005.
Oh, 5.
So I came out a little bit. I was
still in Jersey.
I was end of 2004. Brian came out a little bit later. But I was also, you know, I was self-funding everything, you know, by you know, selling weed. So I had this recording studio out of this house. I had a few other studios in Florida. And so Delray was where I lived last. And so I turned this whole house basically into a music house. And then I would rent out time and then people would come buy weed. So it was like I would double up on the money and then I was just saving money the whole time.
Sure.
And then both Brian and I grew up with a guy that ended up getting pretty high up in the record label industry. And everyone was sending him demo tapes, you know, that he knew to try and see if we could get an interest. But I'd written a song and Brian was the one that, you know, helped me write it, put that together, you know, and then we sent it out and he's like, oh, I can get you a deal with this song. It's like, you just got to move to LA. You know, and I was like, oh, and I was like dating this girl who was like in love with and blah, blah, blah. And I delayed and things went south with that. It's like, okay, time to fucking move to LA.
Goddamn right.
You know, and before that there was like, you know, I was making really good money shooting these videos. You know, I was like 21 making stupid money.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, really early. You know?
Sucks you don't know what to do with it then, you know? If you don't have a good mentor.
I was just spending it on.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah.
On whatever.
I know, a lot of things.
Yeah,
you know?
You're in LA, you go full of piss and vinegar, just fucking got the world by the balls.
Yeah, that's right.
You're fucking rock star. Dude.
Yeah.
On,
so I've had my life has been a lot of
yeah.
Which is where you learn the lessons.
Goddamn right.
You know? And then the nerdy guys that didn't care about hanging out with women are all the guys that invested in real estate. And now I look at them I'm like, well, you know.
Who's laughing out?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, man, I should have did that 20 years ago, man. These guys are fucking killing it. You have how many properties?
Right.
Fuck, they pay you how much a month?
Right. But they had the right mindset.
They did, man.
They had the right mindset. They were planning for the future. And a lot of them were like, I want a family and all that. And it took me another like 15 years to figure out that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like.
How old are your kids?
16 and 6.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, different moms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was saying, oh, fuck, with the age gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 22.
Well, that was like when my first son was born, that's what changed my life.
Yeah, same.
Because that was the thing. Like the label we were on started having some, you know, Geffen was merging with Island Def Jam, and there was this whole thing. So all this drama in the music industry at that time because it was on Napster and all this. Mm-hmm. And so I had a few music projects going on, but then my girlfriend at the time got pregnant, and then I was like, okay, I need to make money, you know, because like when you're solo and you have like, you know, had this little machine going at the green screen stage that was making enough money to get by, but then you have a kid, you got to think about things a little different. And that's when I turned that whole green screen stage into a grow.
No shit, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
so when did you just grow weed? Just one day, or you had some friends, obviously.
No, so when I had the studio in Florida, I met a guy that would come down and rent out the studio, and he was probably in his 40s, but his singer was down in Florida for rehab. So there's a lot of rehabs in Florida. And so he was like California sober. He wasn't doing heroin, he wasn't shooting dope, but he would smoke weed and he would buy weed from me.
California sober, yeah.
Yeah, and he would record at my studio, and I met him as a bike taxi because I worked as a bike taxi on the weekends in Palm Beach.
Cool.
And you know, I would crush it on that because I would sell fucking weed to people on the bike taxi.
Oh, let's go, dude.
Yeah, and it was just like the party. I think I might still have the record for the amount of money made on like one weekend just bike taxiing.
Fuck yeah.
It was like I made like $3,800 in 3 days riding a bike around. But you talk to people, you have to perform. So it's like, you know, and everyone would be like, well, what's it cost? And I'm like, I don't charge. You just tip me what you feel like it's worth. And I said that every time. I never charged.
And that makes them want to give you more money.
Fucking hand me $300.
Fuck.
Yeah, back then.
Jesus.
You know, so
that's cool. Bro.
Yeah, so that's you know, I learned how to hustle, learned how to sell on that bike taxi. You know, and so I meet people there that were powerful in Palm Beach or whatever, or down there for whatever reason. So I met this one guy, and he became a regular. And then I had the studio, and I recorded a couple songs. And his old drummer was from New York. His old drummer, I didn't know at the time though, was one of the largest weed dealers and weed growers in New York.
No shit.
So he saw me doing my thing at the studio, and he one day told me a little bit about his story. He didn't tell me about the growing. I didn't know how he made his money. I thought he made his money through construction, right?
Okay.
And so he told me he had a record label at one point, because that's how he used to move things around, right, monetarily. And he had a hip hop record label. It was a real hip hop label. But then he told me the story that one of his artists, I guess, found out he robbed him, held him up at gunpoint, so he shut down the label. And he had like fucking $500,000 of vintage recording equipment in this apartment in Greenwich Village. So I'm like, oh shit, I want that down here.
Right.
Like, I'll record your band for free. I'm like, because I want as much experience on this hardware as I can.
Okay.
So I can make my songs sound better, and I can get better at my craft. And for me, it's like I'm doing everything with like piece by piece by piece. So this would be a quick.
Yeah.
This is another again shortcutting, right?
Yeah.
Like shortcut mine. So I'll sell this. So it took about
know your angles.
Yeah. So it took about 3 months, and I was able to convince him for me to like go up there, categorize everything, bring it all down. And it was like dream equipment at the time. Like the way I nerd out on grow equipment, the same way I word out on audio equipment. It's like the same part of the brain.
You literally sat down and you're like, oh, yeah, these are
no, it's an SM7B.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on this thing. I'm like, damn, I didn't know what the fuck.
No, I wrote this is
SM7.
Yeah, like a lot of albums were recorded on this, like
doubt.
Thriller.
That was impressive that you knew. I didn't even fucking know.
Yeah, and a lot of people use this mic for live recording because it's not a hot mic. It's not going to pick up everything.
Got you.
And the directional pattern is, I can talk about
you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
Good. So I get this. I'm not going to tell his name. He ended up going to jail. We'll get to that. But that's why I feel like I can talk about it, because he's out of it. Everything else, he served his time. But I ended up going up there, and he was a functional heroin addict. All right. So what does that mean? That means he would shoot dope, and then he would go on Suboxone or whatever, or I would take him, because I basically became his personal assistant for a
the
while.
methadone clinic, some shit.
Well, he would go to this like Asian doctor that was like underground in Brooklyn, and he would do like a 2-day treatment, and they would flush his system out, and he would be fine. He wouldn't have any withdrawal symptoms.
What the fuck?
It was like 10 G's of fucking treatment.
Wow.
All right. So I drive him. I basically was his driver, and next thing you know, I'm driving around fucking trash bags full of weed to Puerto Ricans and shit like that.
Oh, how you doing?
And I go, and he's like, he lives in some Manhattan. He was like in this penthouse suite in Wall Street, and he was married to a stripper.
Those always go so good.
I know, and I would stay there in this, and it basically went up there, and I helped him, and then he'd have me pick up like he had a big crazy muscle auto body shop that he would like buy cars with cash and then soup up and all that. And he was trying to do like a reality TV show with all that. So it was a whole thing. So then he would like pay me to go pick up these cars in Oklahoma City and Chicago.
This is an interesting fella.
He was very interesting. And I would drive around with him, and I had a lot of really fucking crazy stories that I will not talk about with him.
No, yeah, I get it.
But he was an interesting guy, and I find out later that like somehow loosely that show Weeds was kind of based around his network.
No shit.
And then ultimately what happened is the woman that was like kind of Weeds was based upon.
Dr. Dina.
Yes, or whatever that.
Or whatever her name
was in Weeds. She fucking snitched on him. And this whole thing. And then there was a power thing. They got him on like some power charge.
Oh, man.
But something like that. Like there was a whole story. Because I looked him up like.
Power, like he was stealing power?
I think they got him on like a federal charge for the power theft or something like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but like he had all these crazy operations in the city that were like that were fronts, and it was like he was a builder, so he did a really good job with everything. And it was some of the best weed I've ever smoked still to this day. He was doing living soil beds.
Sick.
Yeah, back then.
Wow.
And they were like, the Woodstock hippie crew that came down and kind of took over the city on that end. And I got to see a lot of what that world was, so I was kind of used to it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I got that experience. So when I came out to California, I mean, it was all clandestine in the East Coast. Like, mandatory minimums were real. Like, I had a few close calls, and it was like I would have gone to jail for 5 years, like without a question, throw the book at you.
Oh,
so I came out to California, and like I'm hanging out with these MMA guys who grow, and they got like boxes and cases of weed just out, and they're sorting through it in front of all these people, and I'm having
the first time you see that moving out here is crazy.
I had a panic attack.
It is crazy.
I had a fucking panic attack.
Yeah.
And that was going on.
And what year was this?
This was 2005.
Oh,
So,
that's crazy.
yeah. And
I'm talking 2017 for me, so it was kind of.
no, this is 2005, and I'm like, oh my god,
We're gonna go away forever.
I know. I'm just like, hey, what's going on here? It's so hot.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
This is a lot.
And it's wide open, and you can smell it because like everything we did was like it was tight. Like no one knew anybody.
No doubt.
No one knew anybody. It was a very tight network, and like you know, you had ways of doing things, and it was just like if something fell off, there was ways of protecting, and you just never.
Sure.
You know, and that was it. No one talked about anything. No one was talking.
Fuck no, dude.
No one was fucking talking about it.
No, dude.
You know, and no one talked if you got in trouble. Mm-hmm. It was just like,
Yeah, remember those days?
they're gone.
Long gone.
Everyone talks about everything. So,
Yeah.
you know, so it's, yeah, so it was a wild fucking like paradigm shift. And so, but I was out there for music, and had a lot of weed around me if I ever needed it. But then, you know, I started going to dispensaries and I'm like, I gotta explore all this. And it's like, okay, if the music thing doesn't work out, because this is a long shot, even with the record deal, like 1% of the people fucking actually pop off, have a career. You know, and I'm getting the run around and I'm understanding how the record label's extorting and laundering money and I'm seeing the whole thing. I'm like, I think we're just a write-off. You know, like we're going to make the album I want to make because it's going to be for me. I'm not going to give a...
Sure.
You know, they had me writing with the guys that were like, oh, I can't write a song with this dude.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like I appreciate that you fucking made a bunch of money off of writing fucking TJ Maxx music, but that's not what we're doing over here.
Yeah, chill.
You know, so it wasn't congruent.
For sure.
So I started looking at like, okay, well, this will be plan B, you know.
So this was plan B.
Yeah, this was plan B. This has always been kind of, you know, but this is, but it was only for
That's
money.
cool.
But it was like the money thought, right? So when I started growing, I started learning about like the nerd part of my brain turned on, and I started going, oh, the cause and effect that you see with the growing. It's like, well, why is it doing this? Why did this go wrong? And you start diving in and everything's a puzzle. And then we're synthesizing an environment. We're playing God. That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. You know, this whole thing. And then you're understanding biology and botany on this really minute understanding. And then everything you do affects the experience that you get from the flower. And it's like, I can grow it this way. And then the flower does like a wide difference in how it feels. And so it's infinite. Like the garden is infinite. It's filled with infinite possibilities. Plus, I'm learning about things. I'm learning about cause and effect. I'm learning about how nature works together. I'm learning about how we are supposed to be involved in caretaking that, like our role as human beings. It's like an ancient fucking itch that gets scratched when you start growing a plant and you are connected with it. And because I love the experience of cannabis, the itch, you really are connected with it, you know? And so I just like nerded the fuck out. And I turned one spot in just like an R&D space where I was always losing money, but I was constantly trying to do something new. I was constantly trying to, you know, build all these crazy systems, trying to figure out how to do it better. You know, all this, you know, you only talk to the hydro guy and like, you still called it strawberries or tomatoes. It was still low key.
Back in those days, yeah.
Yeah, and you have like the hydro guy who was like hawking you bullshit and scamming you half the time. Mm-hmm. That was the only guy that would give you information. So finding resources was rare. And then you'd have like a once in a while convention you could go to and connect with people. And then there were the forums, but I was too paranoid to have a forum account. I was like unknown user,
right.
You know, like reading Ivan's posts from back in the day when he went by like Jack Me Hoffer. That was his, you know, and then there was like Capulator and those guys on there. And then there was a bunch of dudes all over that would talk. But I was like, fuck that. I'm not putting my name on this shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is too risky. And then when Instagram and social media popped off, I was like, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, this is still risky. I've been paranoid the entire time, you know, still am to some extent. Mm-hmm. It's why I'm not going to be smoking on a podcast, you know, still paranoid. Still that, like, you know.
No doubt.
So, I mean, no disrespect, but that's like, it's
bro.
Ingrained. It's ingrained in me. It's like, how is that going to get used against me at some point, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, it was wild. And then, you know, as things got more legal, things became more open, of course, and it changed. Now we can talk about it. Maybe. I still think it could switch up on us with the way things are going.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a friend that's, you know, they're trying to hit him with 40 years, you know, and for allegedly like 150-pound sale.
That's crazy.
You know.
In this fucking day and age.
Yep.
150 pounds. That's Crazy.
Yep. So it's been at any point, and mandatory minimums still exist federally. So at any point they could switch it. So I think the paranoia is justified, even though it's unreasonable that with everything that's out there and all these smoke shops, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we can't get clean flower that is going to be a benefit to our life. So.
Yeah.
That's how I got really into it. I dove into the garden. I understand proper use and abuse. They're like when you're growing weed for the first time and you got weed around you all the time, you're just like you're shelling, putting 5 on it before, and now you're like, I got fucking 50 pounds in front of me. Let's smoke all of it. You know what I mean?
You
go
can't smoke,
crazy.
you can't smoke enough, and there's always too much.
Yeah, there's always too much. So that I had to get over that phase.
Yeah,
find
that's
some
a
balance with
phase.
it. Yeah.
When you move here, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's not good for your lungs either.
No. No, it's not good for your lungs. So eating it's definitely better for you. But so that's what. And then it became like an obsession, and understanding how to grow really good weed and how to do it better. And then I've always had, up until the last 2 years, because of, my good friend got popped, my spots, unfortunately, because the case that he got involved in was so wide reaching. I had 2 little spots. I was still doing my R&D, because that's the thing. Like, I always want a little room where I can play, where it doesn't have to be just about cash cropping, where I can push the limit here or there. And that's where the idea around the light came from, because all these LED lights came out, and it changed the expression of the plant. So that was a big thing. Now it's fixed, and there was a expression from high pressure sodium that with some or a good amount of cultivars were better. And those cultivars now are phasing out. Now we have like the LED bred and cultivated cultivars, which I don't like as much as I did. Maybe I'm nostalgic, but we see the way, we got fucking, a lot of OG, the battle of the OG now. That's really good to see. So bringing back some of those older profiles that have a different experience. 2 years. So it's been 2 years since I've grown a plant. That's been my own. I've been helping a lot of other people out.
Okay.
But the Jersey project, I can't wait for, because
that's exciting, man.
I'll be able to get back into the garden.
Yeah. That's exciting.
But I had to stop. There was,
When's that kicking off?
That we're flying right now. So our manufacturing is going to be done probably November, December.
Okay.
And we got a great team from St. Louis that we've partnered with that, because I've been traveling all of these different states everywhere around the country, and just finding rad people that are doing awesome things and creating like a good culture at their company.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned about like California is everyone was unhappy, right? Working at these grows, a lot of people are unhappy, and they complain about it online. So what's the root cause of that? Is it the individual or is it the company? And a lot of times it was the company acting because they're under duress or they're not properly managed or all these different things. And they create basically like a prison vibe at their grows. So I wanted to find people that were doing it differently. And I found a few examples of that, like Head Change or Curador out of St. Louis. They were one of them. Grow Science out of Arizona. Matt, you should have him on. He'll probably never go on a podcast, but what he's like, everyone at that fucking company was just like that fucking power of that energy of everybody there. Nice. I was like, oh my God, you guys love what you do. Everyone is stoked. Hell yeah. And it's like that reflects in the end product and the experience of the consumer. So who's doing that? So
people are very disgruntled here, and I understand why. You know what I'm saying? But
I understand.
It's just what it is.
I understand why, but there's no way to come out of it. That's that you can destroy something that way. But the thing is, it's
for sure.
But the thing is, it's like, there's still, that's just gonna quicken the consolidation.
Yeah.
Of the industry. And that's what we're seeing. So the big fish. Well, and then if there is federal legalization, which I don't think is going to happen for a very long time, but those big fish are consolidating, and if they can survive long enough, which a lot of them can because they keep getting bridge loans, it's amazing. They're going to be exporting out into all these markets and dilute all of it, which we've kind of seen with the backdooring, is all this backdooring of the oversupply. I mean, California's probably producing enough cannabis to supply the entire world at this point.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Twice over. And all it does is reduce the opportunities for people in their state as it's coming online.
Yeah.
And New Jersey's interesting because a lot of people in Jersey like to support New Jersey companies.
For sure.
And even though there is, the smoke shops and
all the trap shit,
the retail market's thriving. And there's something there that, like, I'm going there, and
it is.
It's thriving. And there's going to be price compression, but still, like, there's something there that's just unique to Jersey.
And there's a lot of motherfuckers in Jersey. It's the most highly condensed state per capita.
There is.
You know what I'm saying? So there's people on top of people. But a lot of smokers.
But this is the thing. And then there's been good operators from California that have shown up and integrated in with the culture there, and been able to take the experience that they had in California and all their lessons, and then enrich the New Jersey market with that.
And that's a beautiful thing.
And that's what I'm hoping to be a part of there.
Yeah, you will be, man. That's cool.
I can't wait. And it's
I'm
like, dude,
fucking stoked
people
for
are
that,
excited about the plant. There's still a vibe. I want to reflect that back. I want to learn from these lessons, but leave the ghosts behind.
Yeah,
the best
for
I
sure.
can.
As you should. It's less baggage.
Right. And just try and, there's so many cool genetics. I have a genetics company with Highline Nursery here that we've been doing work for 5 years developing genetics, but because the market in California has been so hyper focused on runts and LCG, there's been no room to really introduce things that are variations that are interesting or compelling, because it won't sell in the bulk market. But in places, so I did a test 2 years ago, started working with a company in Illinois, it's a poetry plant sold in Illinois with a company called Legacy.
Nice.
And it's done really well. And I brought things that would never sell in California there that sell out there.
Hell yeah. I love to see that, bro.
And it's like, I'm going to keep doing that, and a wide range of, like, we got a couple things that were lower THC, but there was something about them that was special. In Illinois, there's a tax on THC. So it's like, okay, cool. This will be cheaper. It's just as good. Maybe people will buy it because
tax
the price
on THC.
Yeah.
Whoa.
They try to do that in New York.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
the more THC, the more it costs?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's terrible.
I know.
Oh, that's dirty.
It's stupid. It's stupid, but for me, it was an opportunity.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I see the opportunity on the sales side because I deal with that.
Because the value is all put on THC, and that's not true. I mean, there's over 500. There's over 500 cannabinoids, but because of the market developed, they were like, we got to make it simple for people to understand. We got THC and we got CBD. We got indica, sativa, hybrid. None of those things fucking matter.
No, dude, literally, literally.
So what we've just kind of put ourselves in a bucket creatively, and the only thing that saved us has been the hash world. So God bless the hash makers, because the hash makers have been the ones to focus on flavor, because it's concentrated. You still got the high THC. Right?
Yeah, all of it does. It's
all of it does.
Now we're chasing
70,
flavor.
80, now we're chasing flavor, and then that's open.
Do you dab?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but that's opened up the door, but only from like hash makers that I know.
For sure.
Yeah, that,
but we're lucky.
I got a
we know
particular,
these guys.
like that's the thing, like the head change guys, those guys down there, they make hash that just makes my life feel better.
No doubt.
It doesn't make me feel like I gotta like question my existence.
No doubt, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, so that's
cool. Man.
So we're gonna give the market what they want in Jersey, which is gonna be high THC stuff. I'm gonna start slipping in flavors.
You should. No, Jersey needs
We've
flavors.
We've got 450 new cultivars at Highline right now.
Yeah, that's good, bro.
And we got like, I'd say like one third of it in the candy bracket. But then I've been fighting for the 2/3 where we got a variety of things.
Yeah. And Jersey's open for it.
And I've been collecting seeds for 20 years now. I got a freezer, and I've been gifted seeds from like the 70s and 80s that are stored proper.
That's amazing.
I mean, That's amazing. I mean, I've been waiting for a place to start popping this shit.
Yeah, we should do some work, bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
You heard it first, folks.
That's it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Jersey.
Fuck yeah, Jersey.
Appreciate
Hell yeah.
it, JP.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt.
Yep.
So, before we go, because we are going to have a round two, we discussed this on the break. This is for sure going to be a round two.
Yeah, we told stories.
Yeah, I just got some personal things I have to tend to today. Unfortunately, I cannot wait, with the kids and shit. So before we do go, though, I just got to get your top 3 strains of all time, bro, because I was going to save that for the second one, but let's just get that one before we dip, and we'll call it a show. So you're one old school, one desert island strain you're stuck on the island with for the rest of your life, and something new you fucking with.
Okay. All right. So there's a strain that no one's really going to know about.
That's cool. Tell us.
It's called Coconut Kush.
Fire.
All right. So this would be mid 2000s. I got it from a guy named Alex Willems, who worked with a guy named Rick, who is a veteran, a Vietnam vet, who had developed this cultivar, and this was like a $7,000-8,000 pound back in the day. So
shit.
Yeah. And I was like one of the few people to get seeds of it.
Nice.
That they had to go through the whole process of being approved, right? So
nice.
So that was.
So that's your old school.
That's my old school.
All right.
And I would say that like it's a little bit of an offshoot of the train wreck. Like some of the, because I basically took it and unbeknownst to them, I back crossed it again and made more. I made a whole fuck ton of seeds.
Nice.
And then pollinated it. It had just the males with beautiful structure. So but it would vary it into this kind of tropical kind of coconut kind of flavor.
Nice.
But the high was one of the most psychedelic highs I've ever had from weed. And like everyone, this was just one of those strains that it would change your relationship with the plant. And I still have some of those seeds. Actually, I lost everything. There was a period of time where I lost everything, and I called Alex up.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and I called Alex up. I'm like, "Do you still have those seeds?" And he had those seeds, and he gifted me the seed collection back.
Nice. Dude.
And so they've been sitting in the freezer since 2007. And so we're gonna pop those. We're gonna pop those fuckers in culture and bring them to Jersey.
Fuck yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Exciting.
And I cross that with like pre-98 Master. All the strains are pop. Shiva skunk, Hindu skunk, all that kind of stuff. So I've got like a lot of the stuff that the boutique guys are selling for high price now that aren't around. I've got in seed form, and so I think things are looking good with the New Jersey project and the people I'm working with there. Really awesome doctors. So sorry, I'm fucking tell you a story every minute. So Coconut Kush, Island strain is going to be SFVOG, no question.
Okay, and
no question.
New.
That's the thing. Well, the SFV is just. No matter what, I go back to that, and it gives me the experience that I'm really excited about.
Another one for the OGs.
Yeah, one for the OGs.
Yeah.
And then there's too many things that are new that I'm going through. I mean, the new thing that I'm the most excited about is a candy strain.
Okay.
Right. So, and it's something that we worked on. I worked on with a guy named Nick Stromberg, open source genetics. He gave me some unreleased runts crosses that made it to market like one time for like $1,000 a pack. But Nick is like a behind the scenes guy for like a lot of the breeders.
Okay.
So there's always like the fucking nerd that knows his shit that's behind a lot of the people.
Nice.
That never wants the credit. So I'm giving him credit and he's going to be like, why the fuck did you do that? But he and I have done a lot of breeding work together. I usually do the selection. I bring it to him. I've done breeding work, but he's so good with reversals and stabilizing them that you're good at this. You do this. And so there was a mochi runts that I got from him that I hunted. And then I found one that had like a real gummy bear kind of thing going on. And a really cool structure, easy to trim. And then we crossed that. We reversed the Sherp cream pie into that.
Oh, shit. Sick.
And so it's like an ultra gummy bear.
Nice, bro.
And that's the one I think that, and I'm excited about it because
I can get down with that.
I'm gonna get you. I'm excited about it because the structure of it's really cool. I really like the high. It tests high, and I think it's gonna commercially do well. And I think it'll be the entry point to develop the reputation, so then I can introduce some of the new things in New Jersey. So that's gonna be one of the ones that we launch with.
That'll be well received.
And I'm calling it Dark Ritual.
Dark Ritual fire.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's gonna be called.
Right on, bro.
Yeah.
Love it,
All
man.
right.
Solid, bro.
Appreciate you.
Yo, absolutely, man. I look forward to part 2.
Yeah.
So where can the people find you? Let them know right here if you'd like to be found.
Yeah. You can find me on, I'm not that, it's posted a little bit on social media, but Poetry of Plants on Instagram. And then please check out, if you're a grower, I designed a light with BIOS that is for growers. And that's on my website, poetryofplants.com.
Solid, man.
Yep.
Thanks again, brother.
Thanks, JP.
You already know.
You got it.
You already know. Poetry of Plants in the house. Good pizza. Thank you for all the Patreons, for all your support. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in on the YouTube and subscribed. We appreciate you guys, man. Thank you to all our sponsors. We'll see y'all soon, man. And catch us in the stores. We're at 9 stores in New Jersey, especially at Cookies Harrison. You already know. Peace, love, good pizza. We up out here.